Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
Welcome, everyone. We're here today with Sheriff Tony Manu of Bannock County. So welcome, Sheriff Manu.
Good to be here.
A little background on Sheriff Manu here. He was. Were you born in Hawaii?
No, it's funny. Believe it or not, I'm Samoan, but I was born in Missouri. My dad was there, military. Okay,
military. So you kind of grew up in Hawaii and then California.
Primarily, yes.
And then you came to ISU, Idaho State University. Played football here.
Correct.
After that, he didn't stay in Pocatello. He got drafted at the LA Rams.
Well, free agent.
Free agent for the LA Rams. And then after that,
in the World League.
Went to the World League and played football. And then after that, he came back and decided, hey, it's time to make a change. I got to find a job that's going to, change things up for me.
Yeah, life circumstances.
Yeah, things happen.
Life choices. How about that?
I get it. So no, it's is there anything else I should have known about you before, or should have mentioned?
Just no, didn't. I had a brother that my older brother played here. That's probably the main reason why I came to Idaho State. My older brother was playing at Idaho State, so that was a big lure for me. Cool. Or I probably wouldn't be at Idaho State.
Nice. Was he also a linebacker?
He was.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Well, yeah. Defensive end when I played. I obviously didn't play to the level you played, but I still love football. So good times. So
it is.
Sheriff Tony, if we could start with is there maybe a fun or interesting fact? I guess we kind of used part of it up with the football thing, but is there something fun or interesting that maybe there's some people out there that don't know about you?
Couple things. Probably, I guess a lot of people in Philly would know, I still coach football at Highland High School.
Very cool.
I've been coaching there for, over 20 years. I'm still affiliated with the Southeast Idaho Youth Football League. I've been part of that for over 20 years. I've been on the board of directors for a long time. Wow. So I've seen that thing grow immensely.
That's great.
I'm an outdoor enthusiast. I love fishing and camping, fishing and golfing. I mean, it's if I can do that more often, I do. So
I love it. Speaking of you being involved in all this youth sports and stuff like that, I've got two younger boys that are very involved in the flag football, and now they're going to get into the tackle football stuff. Mm-hmm. I think that builds such character in these young men as they're growing up, and I feel like being a part of a team really creates that camaraderie and gives them experiences that they wouldn't get any other way.
Oh, for sure.
Can you speak to, because I think this is a good segue into what we need to just talk about is with everything you deal with on a broad spectrum, being the sheriff of this county, of Bannock County, because you see the very far evils, and you see the very the very good side of things. But what can we do to further introduce our youth and to build our youth to continue to help our community and to turn them into good individuals, men and women, obviously?
I think the biggest thing is just having adults like yourself, myself, and the guys that work here, men and women that work here, is just get involved. It's hard volunteering anymore. It's kind of hard. I mean, it's hard to find volunteers for a lot of things. I mean,
Really?
as far as coaching, like Little League football, I've been involved with that for 20 plus years with Les Fernandez. And it always comes down to volunteers. It's not a paid thing. You don't get paid to coach. You don't get paid to be on the board of directors, but man, is it time consuming.
Yeah.
But there's a bigger purpose of all that. If we didn't have Little League football at this point, there wouldn't be a Little League system. I mean, these kids wouldn't get exposed to things like you're talking about, teamwork, being mentored by, good people that are there for the right reasons because they want to shape these young kids and things like that. It's just finding volunteers, whether it's a charitable event and not, trying to help out with charitable events, because I think that's kind of how we met.
Yeah.
Charity golf tournament, but to put on those kind of things, like those charitable events, it takes a lot of work, and generally it's only a small handful of people that do all the work. And it is a grind, especially if you want to keep that charitable event or a Little League system. If you want to sustain that year after year after year, it takes a lot of dedicated work from people that are getting compensated for nothing. There's just always a bigger purpose behind why you do those things. And probably like coaching Little League. And I did that shortly after I was done playing. My biggest, I had a really big aha moment going into my junior year in college, where I had a very, very influential coach, probably the best coach I've ever had. Well, it's Kyle Whittingham, head coach at the University of Utah. Wow. And he taught me things about life, football, that they just kind of turned the lights on for me as far as the sport and life. And it wasn't anything great, like a big newfound knowledge or anything. It was just the way he put it. And for me, when I was done playing, I thought, you know what? You could teach young kids in a Little League system the same thing he taught. You just need to expose these kids to it, and the right people need to be there to do that. So my biggest motivation in that Little League system was to teach these kids exactly what Kyle Whittingham taught me, but at their level, that they can understand the game, understand how you relate it to life. And I don't know, it's been a really, really, really good journey that way, as far as exposing kids to that. And you still try to do that even now with high school level kids, definitely when they're younger. Like back then, kids started in 5th grade, and then you had them all the way to 8th grade. And the biggest thing I can tell you about that is when you get those 5th graders, they know nothing.
Yeah.
And then as you start implementing a system or whatever and teaching them how to work as a team, by the time they're 8th graders, it's like I show up to practice and they're already warming up on themselves. They're doing the things that they're almost being self-maintained. And I kind of like say, from 5th grade, by the time they're 8th grade, we're just calling plays.
Yeah.
Because they've learned so much in those last 3 years. And that's kind of the goal you want to get to.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in this business with new recruits, new guys. When you get new police officers or deputies or whatever, your goal is to try to get them where they're self-sustaining and they do the right things on their own.
Yeah. If you're finding that you're having to constantly micromanage, you may not have the right person or the right talent.
If it's the right micromanaging, I mean, I hate that word, sure. but there's always a form of it.
Sure.
Some people call it micromanaging. I call it constant coaching. I mean, it's constantly coaching people to try to do the right thing, make good decisions, and they're going to make mistakes, but there's, like in our business, I call it, there's mistakes, but then there's willful misconduct.
Yeah.
So call it what you will, but mistakes we can deal with.
No, I agree. Yeah, we're not human. We're human. We're going to make mistakes.
Oh yeah, I still make them today. My wife points them out to me all the time.
Yeah. It's a joking matter, but it's also something serious in our business. We actually have the "we're not perfect" guarantee.
Right.
We have that understanding that we're not human. So I mean, we are human. So. Mm-hmm. Going back to the youth and to help build this up so we can continue to live in a better society. I feel like like for example, my boys, they were playing baseball, Little League baseball this year, and one of them was like, I don't know if I really want to play baseball this year. We kind of said, hey, just try one more year. And then they got on this team with some fantastic coaches, like ones you were just talking about. Just they build up the boys along with their talent. They were extremely good with fundamentals, and they ended up winning the championship with the Bannock boys this year. And my boys are now they love baseball. Mm-hmm. And they have a whole new foundation now of like what is acceptable behavior, when it comes to teams and working together and how you just go about life in a different way. I saw a whole different perspective into their eyes, and I don't care what sport you're doing or having your kids in. I just think that just is a huge influence in their lives.
Powerful, very powerful. And all four of my boys, I coached all four of my boys, which I tell you is challenging.
Yeah.
When they're your own kids, it's very I don't think my kids liked it as much. And they'll tell you to this day, boy, they thank me today how hard I was on them. And I know at the time they thought I was harder on them than I was the other kids on the team. And there were times, my wife and I would have discussions about that. But it was more of like, I do because I can. And number two was because I know when you're not giving 100%, I know that as your dad, when you're not giving 100%. And also I never wanted to give us I guess the visual from other players or coaches that I was favoring my kids. I always wanted my kids to earn that parents would know they're playing because they're good, not because they're the coach's son, and that there's nothing you can say about me being the coach because I want it to be obvious. No, he's good. He's good enough to play,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely a challenge. That's probably one of the toughest things is coaching your own child. And, especially me being a football guy that's gone on and played, but my kids never knew I played at the next level beyond college until they were old enough to understand, because I never wanted them to grow up with this false expectation that I had.
Yeah.
Or they thought I would have.
Sure.
It was more my expectation was, give 100%, period. You don't need to follow my shadow. It's more, dude, if you're going to do it 100%.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations with our boys and even girls now that they're starting to play a little soccer and do gymnastics or whatever it is. I just said, I can recall times when I'm telling them of like, there are times in games that I remember mentally just not having maybe like even the confidence in that game. And I saw that my performance lacked. It wasn't physically that I wasn't there. It was mentally.
Oh yeah.
Talk a lot about that. Like, if you think that you're not going to do well this game, you're going to be right. Like, you got to have those positive thoughts, and you got to have those meaningful ideas and those thoughts that that you're going to be successful, and you got to push the crap out. So
right.
We talk a lot about that. So
it's challenging, and my I guess the other part of my goal was I told my kids I'm not paying for your college. So we're going to figure out a way. I figured out a way how to get college paid for. So that's our goal. And, fortunately, 3 of my kids all played college football and my other one played college basketball. So we never had to pay any college tuition. So it was nice. And my kids still thank me to this day that they don't have student loans and blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, mission accomplished. It's now you guys are on your own. So
that's awesome. Well, cool. Well, taking from what we kind of talked about and, your experience with youth and dealing with the youth that are now growing up, good or bad. What are you? I don't know. What's the favorite part of your business that you get to enjoy, and what are the things what is the biggest learning? What are the biggest things you're learning from, I guess, from your business?
That it doesn't end, even as adults. So right before this meeting, I went in the back in the jail to eat lunch. Mm-hmm. And so they've got a little cafeteria for employees, and it's different from what we feed our residents here. And it's the biggest takeaway when I went back there just to run into some of the people that are incarcerated here, and having them be positive with me. Said, "Hey, Sheriff Manu, remember me? I was here. We talked the last time I was here. Well, I'm back, blah, blah, blah." And we have these interactions with them. And it's, to me, even though they're grown adults, some of them, older than me, you can still have an influence on them. Even though I'm wearing this thing and going back there, you would think that there could be some, little animosity, but
sure.
You treat them like human beings. Yeah. There's a mutual respect for them. Just for me, I try to tell our guys, what, they're people that made mistakes, and they don't lose their rights just because they're here. They don't lose their sense of humanity or anything. They're here for a reason, and for us to add on to their punishment, we don't do that we don't treat them any different. Right. Of course, if they act up, our response has to be appropriate to what they're doing. But it's just interesting talking to one of the guys in there. He asked me if I remember. Hey, you remember me? You talked to me while I was in here, and yeah, I'm back. I screwed up, but I think I'm going to be okay. And and it's one of those positive interactions, because he goes, and I told him, hey, good luck. I don't know what's going to happen to you in court, but I hope things work out for the better and that you don't have to come back in. He goes, no, I'm good. I think I'm done with this. So, it's just maybe an interaction with that changes something. I don't know. Right. You don't know.
Yeah. You never know from what, interactions with what you're experiencing now, or even interactions like what you said with the coaches and the youth.
Yeah.
How much that can go in people's lives.
Yeah. So trying to keep positive. And that's one thing I try to push amongst our whole agency is, what? And I know I definitely tell our administrators this: if you're going to have a bad day, you're going to be in a bad mood, don't come to work.
Sure.
If you feel negative and you feel like you're in a bad mood, just stay home. If you have vacation or whatever, use it and just stay home. Because nobody here wants to be around it, So just stay home. I encourage you to stay home.
I like it. Well, I know you're up against a time constraint, so we'll kind of close this thing down here in a few minutes. But we'll kind of bring us into the lightning round. But the sponsor of our lightning round is Health West. These guys are a great partner for our community, and other communities outside of Bannock County even. So if there's anything that the people that are listening that you think that they could help you with, go give them a Google, find where their closest location is to you, and give them a look up. So, Tony.
Yeah.
Lightning round here. Is there a book or maybe a tool or a software you've used lately that's kind of been top of your mind or been a game changer for you?
Yeah, probably Extreme Ownership.
Nice.
From Jocko. I'm reading that series. I'm done with that one. I'm on the second book now. So
good. Yeah, I've just started that one actually. So
really good book.
Good. Okay, I like that one. Maybe this is one I always direct towards business owners, but I always say, what's the biggest myth business owners need to know the truth about? But for you, what's the biggest myth that people need to understand about just the sheriff's office and what you guys are doing and providing for us?
The biggest, I think for us, for me, and I think for the rest of our sheriff's offices that we're here, I guess my biggest focus is trying to maintain our quality of life here in Idaho. I know not too long ago, Idaho is one of the, top places people are moving to. We're getting a lot of people moving into this state all over, whether it's Pocatello, Boise, from other states. Mm-hmm. I won't mention certain states where a lot of them are coming from. Yep. But for us, it's trying to maintain. There's a reason why people want to move here. The quality of life here, and I've been to a lot of places, is just unmatched. And for us, it's a matter of trying to maintain that quality of life by doing what we do, keeping people safe, providing a good service, and safety. I mean, safety is one big thing that people may take for granted. There's a reason why the quality of life is nice here. I mean, for the longest time here, when I lived here, I never locked my doors. I didn't do anything, and there's a lot of times I don't, maybe I shouldn't put that out there for everyone to know, but just having that sense of feeling of a little bit of an open door policy, even in your own home, that, sure. Man, to maintain that's what we try to do. And I think it's important, and I don't think we should take that for granted. But we also do that. We try to emphasize, by doing that, doing it the right way, you earn the respect of the people we serve by doing it the right way. And that's probably our top priority, is doing it the right way.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And the last thing, is there something I should have asked you that I didn't? And if there is, what would you?
Oh, I don't. No, just how much I care about this place, man. This community, yeah. It's awesome. My wife and I are both so just love being here, and my wife has her own business here as well, and she I don't know. We thoroughly enjoy being here, and it's just wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
That's great. I appreciate you coming on, being on the show with us today. Is there any need for any volunteers in your guys' area right now?
We always look for service for people back in the jail. Whether it's people teaching basic life skills, basic education skills. There's a need for that as far as people that, we do have a GED program, and it's a one-man show back there, but, things like that are important because
sure.
You think about the frustration a person goes through when they don't have basic skills. That can be frustrating in their life. And sure. To try to maybe, I get it, it doesn't cost them anything. Yeah. It's just a matter of hopefully with some of those basic skills and education, you can probably alleviate a lot of frustrations, when you think about it. Reading, math, basic finance skills, things like that. When you don't know, but when you get outside of these walls, yeah. Those things you got to have.
I get it. If someone listening wanted to reach out and to volunteer, is there an email address or a number they could call, or how would they contact?
Just contact our gals up front, 236-7123, and they just ask for anybody, any captain, any administrator in our jail, okay. And if they've got a service they want to provide, we're all ears. Anything to help our population back there to kind of reduce recidivism that's our biggest thing, is trying to make them successful when they leave. At least give them some tools.
Totally understand that. That's great. Well, we appreciate all you're doing, and thank you for your service, and thank you for being on the show today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Spencer.
Yeah. And to everyone else out there, like always, be happy, be grateful, and go out there and try to serve others.
Amen.
See you later.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.